Everyone tells you that you should practice, and I absolutely agree, but how should you practice? And what can you do to get the most out of your practice routine? Here are 10 tips to make the most efficient use of your practice time so you can spend more time making music. Setting goals on the instrument is very important, not just to have something to aspire to, but to make sure that you can make progressive steps to get there. This gets us out of the habit of just playing song after song and feeling we're in this vicious cycle and ultimately plateauing at playing 5 or 6 chords. Do you want to play like Jake Shimabukuro? Do you want to just strum some folk songs? Both are absolutely okay. But if you have a larger goal, you can break that down into smaller goals and figure out how to get there while seeing your progress along the way. And that's a very important thing, is being able to see progressive steps in your journey. Create a larger goal, how you ultimately want to play, and then break that down into smaller bits. How do you get there? What techniques do you need to work on to get where you want to be? And break those down into even smaller bits. Say you want to play George Formby repertoire. Well, you have to be able to do basic strumming before you can do that. And then you can work on working in split stroke patterns and then the triple and all of the other techniques leading up to playing the songs. But when you separate these into smaller pieces, they seem much more achievable than simply saying, I want to play like George Formby. Do not forget to warm up before practicing, and I don't mean every time that you pick up your instrument even. When we sit down to practice, to work through problems on the instrument, it's important to take a couple minutes to not just get our fingers moving, but to get our mind in the right frame so that we can tackle those larger problems, to block out other distractions and really start to think about what we're doing, which is working on music. Slow down. And this goes for every single one of us. Practice should be slow. We should go through the motions that we need on the instrument to play accurately and consistently at a tempo that we can play the passage or exercise at. Playing something 100 times fast and sloppy is much worse than playing something 10 times painfully slowly, yet accurately. The second way is going to get us to play that accurately and fast in the future. There is also time that we need to just play and not worry about mistakes. But when you're in the practice room, practice slowly and accurately so that you can really ingrain those concepts and make those motions automatic. Repetition is how we get better at things. It's how we memorize music. It's how we memorize the finger patterns that we need to play. But I'm going to tell you right now that practicing something 100 times isn't really going to help you that much. What's going to help way more is repetition across days, being consistent with your practicing and practicing small things every single day. I would rather practice something for 3 minutes a day for an entire month than to practice that same thing 100 times in a row, because I know that ultimately that's going to help me play it more effectively. Our brain needs rest, and when we get to playing, we have a tendency to overwork ourselves to where we get on autopilot. And that doesn't help our brain make those neural connections that we need to tell our fingers to do the right things. We need rest, and doing repetition across days gives us that rest without also feeling as though we're banging our head against a wall while we're working through exercises. Whenever we're playing music, we're ultimately doing two things. We're making music, this abstract concept, which also comes along with understanding chords and music theory, but we're also working an instrument, in our case, ukulele. And we need to work on both of those things independently. Most of us spend a lot of time working on playing uke. We can spend some more time working on music, and one of the ways that we can do that is simply by singing what we're playing. Now, it doesn't matter whether you aspire to sing in front of people or not. If you're playing a chord melody piece, sing the melody. Because if the melody is in your ear and in your mind, you'll be able to make it come out much more beautifully on the instrument. We're all blessed to be able to sing, so utilize that natural tool that you have in the practice room. It will help your instrumental playing, whether you know it or not. You practice too much, or not enough, depending on how you want to think about it. The thing is, time doesn't matter. I don't care if you practice a half hour a day or 5 hours a day or 5 minutes a day. What matters is that you're achieving your goals, that you're working towards what you want to do on the instrument. And if that goal is easy, it may only take 5 minutes a day of concentrated practice to make that improvement that you need in one day. Because remember, we need repetition across days, not just 100 repetitions in one day. So worry about your goals, not the amount of time that you practice. A lot of times we get really stuck on the idea of we need to practice this much. But you don't need to practice any set amount. You need to achieve your goals, and the amount of time that takes can be different for every single person. Record yourself playing. You never have to show it to anyone. You never have to post it online. But if you record yourself playing one thing every single week, you'll start to see the progress. It's very easy to feel as though we're plateauing in playing when we're really not, when we are making progress, but that progress is slow and incremental. As we're the one making it, it seems as though it's almost non-existent. If you record yourself playing now and record yourself playing the same thing in a week, and you've worked on it every day, I guarantee that it will sound better and you will be able to hear the difference. To play music, we need to listen to music. This goes back to setting goals. What do we want to sound like? What do we want to achieve on the instrument? Well, if we don't listen to music, and I mean not casually, but actively sit down and spend a little bit of time each day listening to the music that you play and you want to hear. If our mind has a better perception of the sounds that we want to make, they're going to be easier to make. This will also help you with ear training and understanding harmony if you're sitting down and listening to music every day. Remember, if we want to play music, you need to listen to music. Taking a walk can be one of the most beneficial things you do in your practice routine. Step away from the instrument and just think about the motions that you need to go through. In addition to that, when we walk, we have a natural cadence. It's like a built-in metronome that is substantially less annoying than a regular metronome. You can practice rhythms and you can practice singing melodies along with the general cadence that you walk in. And this is, again, separating the musical side of things from the technical side of playing the instrument. But if you understand the musical side better, how to sing those melodies, how to construct rhythms, they're going to transfer to the instrument much more easily. No matter how you want to play on the instrument, our end goal is actually always the same. We want to play music. I don't think most of us took up ukulele so that we could play the instrument. We want to play music on that instrument. And you need to give yourself time in your practice routine away from all the technical exercises, away from trying to perfect everything that you're working on, and to simply play music, because that's why we do what we do.